Rebellions are built on hope.
And welcome to another episode of Radio Rebellion, a Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Alberto Calderon. That's Oti, our co-host, all the way from Puerto Rico. How are you doing, Oti? It's one of those days, I think yesterday, right? Yesterday we decided, let's go ahead and let's do a show. There's really not too much to talk about in Star Wars. But why not? I thought we just came back after 5 weeks off. We should do another show, not just take another break, but we'll see. All right, well, we are here. We're talking Star Wars a little bit. There's news, or there's rumblings, I should say. I don't know.
Don't call that news.
Yeah, one of them is Andor. The Andor news we'll talk about is actual. I don't know how much we can stretch that little sentence out.
Yeah,
we'll try. Who's in the chat? Oh, Dale is here. How you doing, Real?
Here we are
back on the Rey story. Oh man, Rey Skywalker. Who would have thought almost 10 years ago that little Rey?
Who would have thought that the main character of a Star Wars trilogy would get more stories?
We get more stories, and people will be up in arms because they're just ridiculous. But we'll get into all that in a couple of minutes. Thanks to everyone that's joining us today. As always, thanks for being here on this Star Wars Saturday. Make sure you like this video. Comment down below if you're watching this later on the replay. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any new episodes where they drop. And if you're listening to this on the audio podcast, also thank you. Rating, review, if you can, wherever you're listening to this. With that, just quick announcement. We're going to be participating in the Star Wars Podcast Day 2024 again this year. It's the 25th anniversary of Star Wars Podcast Day. And we decided, you know what, 25 years since 1999 is only 25 years, also 25 years from the release of The Phantom Menace. Let's go ahead and look at the first movie from the prequel trilogy. If there's one movie that's gone kind of all the way, kind of a 180 from when it came out in general, the fandom, and it's the overall feel for a lot of people with the prequel trilogy, especially with The Phantom Menace. And this past, 5 or 6 years is had a big revival. So it's going to be fun to talk about that one.
We will definitely get to it when we talk about it, but it's definitely interesting because it went from it's terrible to, okay, the prequels are interesting, but The Phantom Menace is still bad to, no, it's great.
Yeah. And it's been about 2.5 years since I watched it. I did my whole rewatch and I found myself really enjoying that movie. So I'm going to watch it again before we do our talk on it. And again, this is going to be our first show in February. I think it's February 3rd here on our channel. And then we'll release it on the podcast, on the actual Star Wars Podcast Day, which is that Wednesday, February 7th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, cool.
All right. So with that, I should say it's going to be most likely a quick, short, easy show today. Again, we got a couple of topics, nothing too major, but we'll see. So with that said, if you guys are ready, I'm not ready. Let's talk Star Wars and Star Wars news. Star Wars news, Oti, and we're gonna clump to all this news together. And I'm just gonna call this movie news because that's what it is. Just a brand new little segment inside a segment, Star Wars movie news. And this is regarding Rey Skywalker. So we kind of teased it at the beginning. This was announced back in Star Wars Celebration during the summer of last year, or earlier May or April, whenever Celebration was coming out, that a new Rey Skywalker focused movie was coming out. New Jedi Order. It's going to be her rebuilding the Order or something to that effect. The only thing we know. Steven Knight is writing. The director is ready. We got all this set. And then at some point last week, I don't know who it was. There was some conflicting reports.
Don't credit this person, please.
No, I won't. Kind of say, big news, big report. Daisy Ridley's movie has been delayed indefinitely. And Steven Knight doesn't know what he's doing. He might be replaced. And a couple of hours, I guess it took for Lucasfilm to say, you know what, we're done with this. I think someone reached out to them, or I don't know what
It
happened,
was
but
someone from IO9. I
yeah.
can't remember their name, but thank you.
Yeah, so a rep for Lucasfilm came out to debunk those rumors and said that all was moving forward as planned. And like 2 days before, Daisy Ridley was promoting her other movie, saying how excited she is for the script, how this is different. And so why are we? And then of course the internet went crazy with everyone just taking sides. It's a mess.
um, so I want to start with one thing: delayed indefinitely. Delayed
Yeah.
from when? Because we have no idea when this movie's even coming
Hmm.
out. So we don't even know when it's shooting. So that uh, that's what was weird for me. Like when that came out, I was
Hmm.
like, but we don't even know when this is coming out. So yeah, I don't know. I think the reason it spread like wildfire that quickly is because there's like a void of news right now,
Yeah, it is.
and with the new announcement for the Mandalorian movie, like it makes sense. Uh, it kind of made sense if this was the next movie for it to be delayed. So maybe that's why people were like, "Oh, this maybe makes sense. Let me
Hmm.
just retweet it without looking at the source." Which
Yeah,
drives me
when I
crazy.
when I first heard it or read it, I'm like, does it really matter? Because, like you said, the movie's announced, but we don't know when it's coming out. Everyone's assuming it's the December 2026. But I always go back to if they need more time to make sure the story is the best story that they need, then it doesn't matter. But
Mhm.
I'm glad that someone from Lucasfilm came out to say, no, that's false. We're still moving with their schedule, which again, we don't know what that is. But I'm glad that they didn't let this kind of keep spreading like wildfire because it did in those couple of hours. But I'm glad they came out and kind of no, no, no. It's don't believe everything you read out there.
Yeah. I mean, like sometimes I feel like they shouldn't really have to say anything.
Mhm.
That's just me. Like,
It was something to that
I
effect. I know. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
I kind of like a rock and roll attitude. Like I don't care what you think. Like
Yeah.
we'll release it when we release it.
Yes, I read James Gunn a couple of weeks ago. He's one to come out and quickly debunk stuff. But he said recently, and I don't know what it was referring to, that there was a rumor out there for one of his films. He's like, if I don't come out and say something, then people are going to believe that rumor is true, even when it's fake. But part of the rumor is true, but I can't come out and say only part of it because then people will know what's true. And then, but if it comes out that person's going to say that they were right. So kind of that balance. Do you come out and debunk it, or just like you said, just forget, kind of close yourself off from the outside world and just keep
I
doing
mean,
what you're doing?
it's kind of like when people started leaking
Mhm.
what James Gunn's universe was gonna be, and oh, they're gonna keep Aquaman. Oh, they're gonna
Yeah.
rewrite Batman. Like all those things. And I remember it was a very similar thing. He tweeted out like, "There's a lot of things in this article that are not correct."
Yeah.
So and that's like an interesting thing because then people start going like, "Oh, I wonder what it is."
Yeah.
But I'm gonna contradict myself because I said I like that rock and roll attitude. I kind of like that Lucasfilm isn't spoon fitting us with things
Hmm.
um like I kind of like the silence sometimes, but I also love James Gunn being like, "That's not true."
Yeah. I like when he does it because he does it straight to the person that's doing it, especially people that make their living with all these fake rumors. I love when he comes down and just comes out on them. But we should know from by last 15, 20 years that Lucasfilm, especially when it comes to Star Wars, they're pretty tight lipped on what they let out.
Hmm.
So we shouldn't be expecting all these big announcements just kind of all of a sudden if nothing it's kind of confirmed. Especially something like this new Rain movie. I don't think we're gonna see anything maybe even similar to the Force Awakens when we got that cast photo from the script reading. Maybe something like that to do an announcement of
Oh,
when this is when it's coming out. It's a big picture
oh
of the
my
whole
god!
cast there. That would be
Could
awesome. Plus a cast reveal at that same time.
could you imagine like on a random Thursday, like classic
Yeah, of
Lucasfilm,
course.
like we get a picture of again the table
Mhm.
read, and there we have John Boyega and Oscar Isaac, and it says like
Oh
first day of
man.
pre-production or something like
Oh,
that.
that would be
Oh,
phenomenal.
that'd be
That'd be
awesome.
great.
And
I
that's how
was,
we find out, just a
yeah.
picture.
I mean,
Or
and I would love it.
or even just a picture of the three of them in Lucasfilm, like in front of the Yoda statue.
Oh
I
yeah,
need that. I need that now.
I'm still holding out hope. I'm very high that John Boyega will be there. I
I
think
mean, he's been like maybe,
whatever. Yeah, if the script is right.
but
Um,
again, when Rise of Skywalker came out, and they were both like, "We are done. We are
yeah,
never doing this again." Everyone was like, see," and like the other side was like never say never, like
yeah, give it
yes,
time.
and seeing them soften up and be like,
Mhm.
I like the Disney money.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't? Who doesn't, right?
I mean,
Uh,
that leaked salary for Daisy
whew,
Ridley. Oof.
I mean, good for her. Get paid.
Mm-hmm.
You
Get that
suffered a
money.
lot for those three movies, and she's been doing a lot of other stuff. So good for her. It's funny talking about. Kind of mention a little bit this new Mandalorian movie that no one. I don't remember seeing anyone talking about this. And when Filoni was got that promotion to executive vice president or whatever he is, and everyone was, see, now everything's gonna be Ahsoka, everything's gonna be this or that. And then the first movie that gets kind of pushed forward is a Mandalorian movie with
Oh,
him writing, and no one came out to say, see, that was his first act as executive vice president. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. All right.
I think isn't it like chief creative officer?
I don't know the name, probably.
I think it's chief
Whatever
creative officer.
falls under president. So keeping up with Ray, and this might be a little bit, I don't know. I don't know what to, it's a better source. Let's say it's a better source that Jeff Snyder recently revealed in his newsletter that Sean Levi's Star Wars movie might also involve Ray Skywalker somehow. A little bit surprised because we don't know anything about Sean Levi's movie, when it's going to take place, characters, what the movie's about. He still has Deadpool 3, another Ryan Johnson thing that he's doing on Netflix, plus Stranger Things that's starting to shoot. So we have, this might never come out in this decade, maybe 2030. We talked a little bit last time, I think, about Daisy Ridley. Is that going to be a trilogy or whatever? Or in the past, we talked about this. Could this be a continuation of Ridley's story? I don't remember. Do you remember when that Sean Levi news came out? Was it like he had a story that he wanted to tell in Star Wars, or he
No,
just kind of, yeah, he just,
I don't really remember
yeah, me
like
neither.
what it was.
So you
I
think
think
this
the
is
ones that have
what
the
do you?
story was John Watts, and then Farrell was like, "Nah,
Mm,
come over here, come over here."
yeah, yeah. What do you
Was that?
think? What do you think about this? Do you think that maybe Sean Levi is doing? Let's change a little bit. If Ray Skywalker shows up in this movie, do you think it's a continuation, or would you prefer this is a totally separate thing and then Ray's there somehow, involved somehow?
It would be very interesting if Ray's movie like launches like a sub franchise within Star
Mhm.
Wars, sort of like Mandalorian has. And the Sean Levi movie is like
Yeah.
spinning off of that.
Hey, Buck.
I had like a secret thought. I'm letting my mind go wild. What if they're talking to Sean Levi, and as I've said, this is gonna be episode 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah.
What if Sean Levi does the second one, and then for the third one, Ryan Johnson comes in, and
Okay.
we get this reveal like this is my trilogy. Like this, I helped spearhead this or something.
He just writes all three. I'll take that. I don't mind. I don't think Ryan Johnson will just come back for the last one. I thought you were gonna go with J.J.
That'd be
Abrams just to piss everyone off, but
I wouldn't mind.
I mean, I don't mind
JJ and
even.
Terrio writing episode 12.
I will if this Ray thing is a trilogy, which I think we both are kind of in a very similar position or train of thought. I just want that one writer. Just have Stephen Knight write all three. And then if you bring a new director and then you want to tweak a couple of things here and there, that's fine. But don't bring a writing and a directing duo for each one. I think that was a problem for the sequel trilogy.
No, I agree.
Just
I
have
agree.
one.
Even the JJ one, like the first one was Castan, which is classic Star Wars, and then Terrio, who has this crazy idea sometimes. So
Yeah. It was who was gonna write it first? Arndt, Michael Arndt, wasn't
Michael,
he write the first draft and then they changed with JJ and Kasdan? It's
he wrote Lucas's script.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. But
The
um,
one that guy has supposedly.
so I'm not opposed to Ray showing up in Sean Levi's movie, but I don't know how true. I don't know because we don't know anything about his plan for his Star Wars movie. So this is kind of, yeah, it's cool, but apart from that, there's really nothing more to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll see. I want to know more.
Yeah.
I keep saying that every time we talk about it because we literally don't know
So before we jump to our other topic, when are we gonna start learning more about what's coming this year? Because everyone on Twitter is, where's the Bad Batch trailer?
anything.
Where's Acolyte coming out? Where's Skeleton Crew? Like, it's been a few months.
You
We're
you
almost done with
know you know the answer to this on a random Tuesday.
on a random Tuesday. So yeah,
I
in
think maybe
3 days from now we'll get something.
I think maybe February like would be a
Mhm.
good time to maybe make an like a poster, probably like a
Mhm.
Bad Batch season 3 poster with the date on it, and then like that hype starts building.
They're gonna start releasing something. Maybe March. Like the first, let's say the first thing is Bad Batch. Usually, if
I'll
it's
say the same thing I always say. They don't need to do anything.
it would be nice if they release a poster, trailer, whatever. Let's say in February, and then March,
Yeah.
it comes out.
I mean, and Bad Batch is like a longer show than
Yeah.
Acolyte or probably Skeleton Crew, so it would make sense. Like March, go all the way to May, and then
Do
August.
you think, I know a lot of people had issues with season two of Bad Batch being, or not with season two, with The Mandalorian being released, where there's still about 3 or 4 episodes of the Bad Batch, and they kind of overtook. Do you think they might do the same thing? There's less Star Wars stories coming out this year, I think, so maybe they can spread it out a little bit,
I
especially
mean,
with it being the last season for Bad Batch.
I personally did not mind that happening. I understand like why people
Mhm.
would mind it. I think it could happen because again, Bad Batch is a longer show, so
Mhm.
maybe like you start getting into constraints because we don't want to release Acolyte later in the summer because this other Marvel show is coming out, something like
Yeah.
that.
All right. Maybe they do what they did with Echo, or with What If. Every couple of days, just release a new episode. I know people are not gonna like that, but I don't know. Disney's been experimenting a lot with their release schedule recently, so who knows? All right. So our last news, actually, of the day. During last Sunday's Emmys, Diego Luna was asked about season two of Andor. He went on to say that I have 7 days. Tomorrow I am flying back to London, and we are finishing this. So that's tomorrow. 7 days is tomorrow.
Okay.
Are you excited now that Andor season two could finish shooting tomorrow, and then hopefully at the end of the year we'll see something?
I I had the same feeling when I remember that picture of JJ with the when they wrapped Rise of Skywalker, and it's the same feeling here. Like I am glad to know that
Yeah.
someone knows what's in
Yeah.
store for us. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited. I couldn't find it again, but there was an interview, I think, came out a couple of days ago with Genevieve O'Reilly, talking a little bit about season two, that it's more emotional, more intense, more action, more all this, and how excited she
Good.
was for it. So it's like, it's getting me hype. The more I think
I've
about Andor, the more I want to revisit that
I
world.
re- I this week I rewatched Michael Clayton, which is a Tony Gilroy movie,
Mhm.
and that had me like on a Tony Gilroy high. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, like give me Andor.
Man, Andor's that show. I mean, not wasn't universally beloved. I know a few Star Wars fans, including one of my brothers, didn't kind of fall in love with it as quickly as I did. So it still has its, I don't know, whatever. We all
I mean,
love it,
like
and I can't wait for more.
on a very specific day, I think Andor could be my least favorite Star Wars show, and I still love it. Like
Yeah.
again, the writing on the show was just amazing.
Every time I think about Andor and where would I rank it, yeah, I can always still up there because of what those two characters mean. Ahsoka was just incredible with all the Jedi and the mysticism and the Force. But every week that we came to talk about Anders, how do they keep upping every week? We're saying this show can get better. We get back here, it was better, it was better, it was better, all the way till the end, 12 episodes. So that's why I'm like you said,
I
might not be my favorite, but you can't deny how great that show was.
I still remember like doing those first couple of episodes with Maggie and being like, the show's good.
Yeah.
Like,
What's Buck saying?
boy,
You'll
he's
get
saying
to it.
Hobie and I restarted Andor on Thursday. We're very excited for season 2. Cool.
Yeah. And
I haven't
season two,
rewatched it since.
I haven't. I'm very bad in rewatching Star Wars shows. I usually watch them 2 or 3 times when they come out, like each episode during the week. But then just going back and restarting everything, I'm bad with it. Even though I just watched for the third time Rings of Power, just finished it
Like
yesterday.
with the exception of Far Far Away, which I rewatched like 6 times. Yeah, I don't really go back.
Yeah. Season 2 of Andor is going to be interesting and different from the first one because it's, as we know, it's like 3 years, right? So every chunk, every 4 episodes, I believe, is going to be a year
Yeah.
till it gets to the 12. So that's going to be interesting to see how they do that time jump and who shows up and what the story is. With all
It's
the characters, who are they going to be focusing on? It's going to be very interesting.
it's gonna be like the first season on steroids because it had the same format. Like every bunch of episodes was like a
Yeah.
saga or something, and here it's like it's a whole year.
Yeah. Oh man, but it's even knowing, I love when Diego Luna talks about it, that he loves that there's an ending, and it's good to know that what they're shooting for. But we can, of course, we know how where this story is gonna end if we believe that the season ends the way Rogue One started, so we know where they're heading. But to see how Melchi gets to that point, because we're starting to run off and trying to find whatever he was trying to do. Plus, of course, everything with Mon Mothma and with Luthen, Saw Gerrera is still gonna be there. So,
What's
man,
gonna
it's so
happen with
much.
Bell and Cinta, Cyril and Deidre? Like
Yeah,
I think that's one of the best things that show did. It's like yes, it has a bookend, but it introduced so many
so many.
characters that we just don't know like what's gonna
Mm-hmm.
happen with them.
And I think
Those
that
pigs.
I think that Andor did great. That a lot of shows do great, and sometimes some other Star Wars show, for some people, they don't focus on some of those new characters too much. Is that
Mhm.
they introduced all these characters and gave them all meaningful arcs and a
Mhm.
lot of time to breathe. Nothing was just kind of rushed. Because again, having 12 episodes kind of help instead of having 6, 7, or 8, which is something I wish that they did for more of the Star Wars show. Just give us more episodes. Maybe not 15 or 16, but 10 or 12. Please give us
Yeah.
that. All right, so very excited for season 2 of Andor. Very excited to know that hopefully it ends filming tomorrow, and then we start getting more official news about it and some pictures out there.
Yep.
All right, so that does it for yeah, Buck. You're jumping the gun, Buck. We're going there right now. That does it for Star Wars news for the day. Like I mentioned at the beginning, not a lot of official Star Wars stuff to talk about today. So that's it for Star Wars. So we're gonna go real quick to that segment when we talk about something else and not Star Wars in a world between fandoms. All right, a war between fandoms and Bug. Put that comment up right there, Otto, if you can. Boom. So Bug, Rise news is that Cinta has been cast as the next companion of Doctor Who. And here we go. So changing companion per deadline, and I hate this head. This is the first sentence from this deadline article. The BBC and Bad Wolf have reportedly recast Millie Gibson as Doctor Who's assistant.
Recast.
Recast his assistant after she filmed just one season as Shuti Gawa's sidekick. Gibson will be replaced by Andor's Varada Setu, who played Cinta Cass in Andor. So she's going straight from Andor season 2 to Doctor Who, which is great for her. I love if that is true, and I'm gonna believe it because it's not just deadline. This was heavily reported yesterday. They change companions every couple of years.
I
Some of them it's only one season or even less. This is no news.
I I want to talk about something first.
Go ahead.
When this first came out, it came out from certain outlets that report on sports a lot, on soccer specifically.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot about grifters and heading for clicks.
Mhm.
These outlets are the kings of going
Yeah.
for clicks, especially when it comes to sports. Like Alberto, it's egregious the things they make up.
Hmm.
Like you'll have someone say something and they'll be like they'll quote them like, oh, this is what they said, and then you
Yeah.
watch the video and that's not what they said, like, at all. It's not even the same words. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? And they'll literally like take anything like, oh, this player wasn't smiling at the end of the game, that means he's leaving. Agent confirms. Like, what?
Yeah.
So when I first saw it, I was like, oh, they're just like stirring the shit. Like,
Hmm.
they know there's grifters out there. Like, I've seen the hate to Chuti and
Yeah.
what's happening to the franchise. Um, and I was like, okay, they're going for the clicks. But then when I saw the variety thing, I was like, oh, okay.
Hmm.
So I think that they were like the first huge outlet to be like, no, we checked, it's
Yeah.
happening. I'll tell you this, I was bummed. I know companions come and
Yeah.
go, and change is a constant in Doctor Who, but I really liked her as a companion. I thought she had like potential to go for a while,
Hmm.
maybe like an Amy or something like that. But I mean, like I like Cinta as a companion. I think she
Yeah.
she she has a potential. We've seen her dark side, so she could be an interesting companion.
Yeah. To me, this is no news. It's just people reporting on something that's going to happen a year and a half from now. Because season one or series one hasn't even started, right? That first episode, that was still a Christmas special. So Millie Gibson's as Rose hasn't even kind of
As
started.
Ruby.
Sorry, as Ruby. Hasn't started yet. And if she does leave at the end of this first season, she won't be the first companion to change after a season.
No.
Even Rose, that we all love, I know she got 2 seasons, it felt like more. Most people think of her with David Tennant. They forget a little bit about her time with Echo. So we almost feel like a season.
Don't
And
say that.
then, I know. And then you'll see there's another companion later when you keep going
I mean,
that also was
Bill is
there.
like a year, like a season.
Sorry?
Right? Bill is.
Yeah, so Bill at the end with Capaldi is also 1 season.
And Martha's 1 season, Donna's 1 season.
Yeah, so this is in terms of, oh no, they're changing companions after a year. Yeah, this is what Doctor Who does a lot of times. It takes, and Amy was a year and a half or a season and a half before it changed, if I'm right. I think so.
No, Amy was there for a while. It was 2.5 seasons.
Okay, so my bad. But anyway, this happens. It's just that we get so much information now. It's just, you don't need to report about something that's going to happen 2 years from now. And it's just the way it's reported. Like Doctor Who's assistant gets recast because his sidekicks. Do you even know the show? Just leave
I
it. And
think
we don't
not.
know the story for Ruby. Maybe 1 season is all
I mean,
they
and
need to tell that story.
from what we saw from the special, this could make sense because her family is very like
Yeah.
Ruby's like a kind of different companion. Like until the part I'm in,
Yeah.
companions are usually like have rough lives and are seeking something
Yeah.
else. Ruby, like,
Mhm.
led like a pretty shit life. Apparently, she had bad luck, but
Yeah. It's not her fault, just the goblins.
wins.
So we'll see that how that goes. I had something else. I just lost it about this. I don't remember. Anyway, May. They said May is when the season starts. So very excited for this to come out
Um,
officially and see where everything goes.
I'm currently I've slowed down my watch of Doctor Who, but I last night I saw an episode that I loved. Listen,
By name, I don't know what that is.
it's the one where the Doctor is obsessed with finding out what's like under the bed, like that
Oh,
presence we can't see but comes
yes,
from the
that's a great one.
that
That's a great episode.
that was an amazing, like, that twist was like,
Yeah,
what?
that's awesome. And an episode that I love, I don't think you've gotten into it, and it's complete opposite. It's the one with Robin Hood.
I
I love
did
Capaldi
not
and Robin
like
Hood.
that episode
Oh,
at
it's
all.
I loved it. I don't know. I just so silly and stupid. I love it.
I didn't like it. Tony loved it. But I with that episode, listen, I love that it ties into that thing with Clara that she's everywhere in the Doctor's
Yeah.
history.
Mhm.
It was so good.
Exactly. Again, you're getting me into a rewatch. I gotta start a rewatch soon. What I remember what I was going to say, it's even companions come back. A lot of these companions are being there, even if it's just for one season or two, they keep showing up.
I
So
mean,
this doesn't mean we won't see Ruby again.
in the giggle, we got Melanie, who was a companion in the previous show,
Yeah,
and I think she's coming back for another
yeah,
episode.
it
So like
seemed like it. And
Martha,
someone
Sarah Jane came back several
every
times.
every season, and someone replied to my post about it, saying that they saw Millie Gibson supposedly signed for two specials after this first season. So again, I still take a lot of this with a grain of salt, especially because we
We'll
haven't
see.
seen even a single episode about it. All right, so anything else, Oti? Anything else you want to talk about today? I don't
No,
think there's.
man, I love Doctor Who.
All right, we love Doctor Who, and hopefully we'll get your show to come out soon.
Oh, first episode coming out this Tuesday. It's a
There you
regeneration
go.
episode. It's Tony and me just talking about Doctor Who with no plan or agenda.
Those are the
And
best.
our second episode, we're aiming to launch. That will be like the official first
Mhm.
episode. The week after that, and we invited you, and so we have to.
Yeah. What next week? All right, we'll get into it.
Not
All right,
next
so
week. The other.
I know the other way. So next week is your episode 0, just kind of getting everything ready, and then episode 1 coming. There's like all those specials. All right, so that does it for us this week. I kind of mentioned it's going to be a short episode today, which is fine. Hopefully, we'll be back next week if there is more Star Wars news. If not, we'll figure something out. And then after that, it's our Star Wars podcast day where we'll do our 25th anniversary talk on the Phantom Menace. All right, out anything else before we say bye?
Don't follow me. Follow Bat Wolf Broadcast over at Batwolf_FNI.
Follow. I gotta start putting that on the show notes below on the whatever you call that. All right, so we're back next week. See you. Stay safe. Be safe, and we'll have you flying in no time.